In the grand mythology of professional wrestling, WrestleMania is the showcase of the immortals. It's the spectacle, the grandest stage of them all. But for over 3 decades, another event has served as the company's heart, its soul, and its conscience. SummerSlam became something more than just the second pillar on the WWE calendar. While WrestleMania built its legacy on larger-than-life moments, SummerSlam carved its identity from something else entirely. Before WrestleMania stole the spotlight, SummerSlam made legends bleed, climb, and sacrifice everything. These are the 10 matches that define WWE's hottest night of the summer. It's not about the brightest lights or the biggest box office. It's about the stories told inside the ropes, the bodies broken for a single moment of glory. If you love wrestling and want to see more videos like this, subscribe to SlamTube Wrestling, where we explore the untold stories and legendary moments from the squared circle. Number 10, CM Punk versus John Cena, 2011. In the summer of 2011, one man, CM Punk, held the entire wrestling world in the palm of his hand. He had won the WWE Championship on the last night of his contract and walked out of the company, leaving chaos in his wake. In Punk's absence, WWE crowned a new champion in Rey Mysterio, who promptly lost the title to John Cena that very same night. CM Punk returned, his WWE title still slung over his shoulder. It set the stage for a collision at SummerSlam. Special guest referee Triple H. The match that followed was not a sequel to their 5-star thriller in Chicago. It was something different, a Hollywood epic built on layers of psychology. Cena, the company's franchise player, was visibly thrown off his game, forced to innovate because his tried-and-true formula was useless against an opponent who was always one step ahead mentally. The finish was as controversial as the build-up. Punk hit a second go-to-sleep. Triple H counted to 3, but missed John Cena's foot clearly on the bottom rope. This match was a masterpiece of performance trapped inside a creative tragedy. It stands as a cautionary tale of a company that had lightning in a bottle and chose to smash it on the floor. Number 9, the sequel, Shawn Michaels vs. Razor Ramon, 1995. From a story sabotaged by chaos to one that had to be built from scratch under immense pressure. How do you create a sequel to perfection? At WrestleMania 10, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon had crafted a masterpiece 17 months later. In a move of desperation, management scrapped the original plan and booked a rematch of the legendary ladder match, hoping to save the show. But there was a catch, a creative handcuff that seemed impossible. They were reportedly forbidden from using the ladder as a weapon. What followed was a masterclass in innovation through limitation. Michaels and Ramon, 2 of the smartest performers of their generation, didn't break the rule. They bent it until it shattered. Razor didn't hit Shawn with the ladder, he simply dropped it on his ankle by accident. Shawn didn't swing the ladder at Razor, he just happened to hit him while picking it up. After a series of famously flubbed attempts to grab the title, Michaels finally scaled the ladder and secured the Intercontinental Championship, a triumphant end to an impossible task. It cemented the stipulation as a major attraction and further solidified Shawn Michaels' reputation as Mr. SummerSlam, a performer who didn't just steal the show, he built it from the ground up. Number 8, The Ascent, Triple H vs. The Rock, 1998. From 2 men elevating a gimmick to 2 men who would elevate an entire generation. The challenge was laid down and the weapon of choice was chosen. This was a ladder match for supremacy. The crowd began the match with a chorus of Rocky Sucks chants firmly behind Triple H, but as the match wore on, something incredible happened. The Rock's undeniable charisma, his electrifying presence, began to win them over. The turning point came when The Rock laid Triple H on a ladder, looked to the roaring crowd, and delivered the most electrifying move in sports entertainment. The finish was pure Attitude-era chaos. A timely low blow from China allowed a battered Triple H to scale the ladder and seize the championship to a thunderous ovation. The crowd's reaction was undeniable. They had hijacked the narrative. That night, the journey of the People's Champion truly began. Number 7, John Cena versus AJ Styles, 2016. From 2 men who defined an era to 2 men from different worlds colliding in a modern dream match. It was the match we never thought we'd see. Their feud was a battle for legacy itself. Who was the true face that runs the place? Styles had scored a victory over Cena months earlier, but it was tainted by interference from his allies in the club. After the WWE brand separated Styles from his cronies, the stage was set for SummerSlam. One-on-one. No backup, no excuses. The Brooklyn crowd was electric. A symphony of dual dueling chants that shook the arena. The defining moment came late in the match. Cena hoisted Styles to the top rope and delivered his ultimate weapon, attitude adjustment. The referee's hand came down and AJ Styles kicked out. The look on John Cena's face was not one of anger, but of utter disbelief. In that moment, he knew it wasn't his night. The end came decisively. A second Styles clash followed by a breathtaking, phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. The victory instantly legitimized AJ Styles as a top-tier superstar in the WWE universe. But the most enduring image came after the bell. John Cena, alone in the center of the ring, slowly removed his never give up wristband, placed it on the mat, and walked away. It was the passing of a torch. He used his own stardom to create another. Number 6, The Undertaker versus Bret Hart, 1997. The main event of SummerSlam 1997 was a powder keg with a lit fuse. You had the WWF champion, The Undertaker, a phenom at the peak of his power. You had the challenger, Bret Hart, who had transformed into a bitter, anti-American heel. And then you had the stipulations. If Bret Hart did not win the championship, he would never be allowed to wrestle in the United States again. And the special guest referee, the one man tasked with maintaining order, was Bret's most hated nemesis, Shawn Michaels. The match itself was a masterclass in tension, considered by Bret to be the best bout he ever had with The Undertaker. Bret, the master strategist, worked to chop the giant down, relentlessly attacking The Undertaker's legs. All the while, Shawn Michaels prowled the ring, his every action dripping with contempt for Hart. The match was a brilliant performance, but the ending was pure, chaotic art. After being handed a steel chair by his Hart Foundation allies, Bret engaged in a heated argument with Michaels. In a moment of pure disgust, Hart spat directly in the referee's face. Enraged, Michaels swung the chair. The steel chair crashed across the skull of The Undertaker. Michaels saw what he had done. His hand had been forced. With visible reluctance, he made the 3 count. Bret Hart was the new WWF champion, and he had won it thanks to the one man on earth he despised most. Number 5, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, 1994. The setting was SummerSlam 1994, inside a classic, unforgiving blue bar steel cage. A structure designed not just to keep interference out, but to lock two brothers in with their shared history and resentment. But this was not a typical cage match. Bret and Owen rejected the expected formula of a bloody, violent brawl. The cage wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of their inescapable family conflict, and the only true victory was to get out. What followed was a 30-minute masterpiece of psychological warfare. The finish is one of the most suspenseful in history. After a grueling battle, both brothers scale the cage wall. They hang precariously over the top, a mirror image of ambition and desperation. In a frantic scramble down the outside, Bret's feet hit the floor a mere split second before Owen's, allowing him to retain the championship in the most dramatic fashion imaginable. After the match, Owen's brother-in-law Jim the Anvil Neidhart emerged and, with Owen, brutally attacked the champion inside the very cage he had just escaped. The attack solidified Owen Hart as a main event villain and cemented the Hart family saga as the central narrative of WWE's new generation. They didn't just have a great cage match, they redefined what a cage match could be. Number 4, Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect, 1991. In an era dominated by cartoon characters and superhuman physiques, Hart and Hennig put on a technical wrestling clinic. But beneath the surface of this flawless performance was a remarkable story of sacrifice. Mr. Perfect was wrestling with a debilitating back injury, a fact hidden from the audience. He was in no condition to perform at this level, but he did it anyway, putting his body on the line to make Bret Hart a star. The match was a symphony of near falls and brilliant psychology. The crowd gasped when Bret kicked out of the perfect plex, a finishing move that no one had ever survived before. That single moment signaled that Bret was not just another challenger, he was special. The finish became the stuff of legend. Perfect attempts a leg drop, but Bret catches the leg midair, twists, steps over, and locks in the sharpshooter. The garden explodes as Perfect submits, and the Hitman is born. The victory launched Bret Hart's illustrious singles career, setting him on a path to the World Championship and cementing him as the face of a new era. Number 3, TLC 2000. 3 teams had defined themselves by their weapon of choice. The Hardy Boys were the daredevil masters of the ladder. The Dudley Boys were the brutal architects of the table, and Edge and Christian were the conniving opportunists of the steel chair. It started at 100 miles an hour and never let up. This match created the very blueprint for every chaotic, multi-man stunt match that would follow. Bubba Ray Dudley crashing through a stack of 4 tables at ringside, Jeff Hardy's iconic Swanton bomb from the top of a giant ladder, Lita interfering on behalf of the Hardys, only to be cut in half by a terrifying spear from Edge. In the end, it was the ultimate opportunists, Edge and Christian, who navigated the carnage to retrieve their tag team titles. The match created a new genre of wrestling and cemented all 6 men as future Hall of Famers. Famers. Number 2, Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog, 1992. SummerSlam 1992 was a historic moment. For the first time, a major WWF pay-per-view was being held outside of North America, live from the legendary Wembley Stadium in London, England. And for the more than 80,000 fans in attendance, the main event was personal. The story was built on a family divided, with Bret's sister Diana, Bulldog's wife, caught in the emotional crossfire. But the real drama was happening behind the curtain. The British Bulldog was in no condition to perform. He was also battling a legitimate staph infection in his knee. A disaster was looming, so Bret Hart put the entire match on his shoulders. Bret meticulously laid out all 25 minutes of the bout, and in the ring, literally carried his brother-in-law through it. He made Davey Boy look like an unstoppable force, a powerhouse who could go toe-to-toe with the best technical wrestler in the world. The finish was a work of art, designed to give the hometown hero his moment without diminishing the champion. Bret went for a sunset flip, but Bulldog, using his raw strength, countered by dropping to his knees and hooking Bret's legs for the pin. The eruption from the 80,000 fans is one of the loudest and most emotional in the history of the business. This match is the ultimate embodiment of a wrestler's highest calling, the art of making your opponent. Number 1, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H, 2002. An unsanctioned street fight, a match for which WWE claimed no legal responsibility. This wasn't for a title, this was personal. The match was a war. Triple H was sadistic, relentlessly targeting Shawn's surgically repaired back with chairs, backbreakers, and his sledgehammer. Shawn's selling was almost too real. He made you believe that his career was ending all over again with every blow. The finish, the match was so incredible, the performance so transcendent that it convinced Shawn he could return full time. This match is number 1 because it is the most potent example of reality fueling narrative. Every blow to his back felt real. Every comeback felt earned. His victory felt like a genuine human triumph over impossible odds. It wasn't just Shawn Michaels, the character, winning that night. It felt like Sean Hickenbottom, the man, was winning. And that is a level of emotional investment no other match has ever achieved. SummerSlam is more than just an event. It is a chronicle of sacrifice, artistry, and heart. It is where the excellence of execution was truly born. WrestleMania may create immortals, but SummerSlam is where they prove they have a soul. What's your favorite SummerSlam moment? Let us know in the comments. Hit like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to SlamTube Wrestling for more legendary stories from the squared circle.